What's up, everybody? It's your boy Toxic Boyo bringing you another Death Battle reaction. This time, it was a fan request. We're going to be reacting to Trunks versus Silver, which is a battle I didn't even know happened. But what I do know is that Dragon Ball characters have a long history of losing these really bad. The only time that a Dragon Ball character has ever won was when they were going up against another Dragon Ball character, as far as I'm aware. Um, who's calling me right now? Nobody, apparently. I'm leaving that in the video. What's funny about this particular matchup, though, is that, as far as I can tell, Silver is based on Trunks, and Trunks is based on Kylo Reese from Terminator. So it's all kind of full circle, I guess. Maybe we'll do Terminator versus RoboCop. That one's been out so long, I actually legitimately don't remember who won. But, all that being said, I'm a pretty big fan of Dragon Ball. I know most things about the lore and the world that it takes place in. Sonic, not so much. I know little things here and there sprinkled throughout the franchise's history, and I've played plenty of the games, but I'm by no means a Sonic the Hedgehog expert. So, that being said, I'm gonna give it to Silver. I don't know. We'll see what happens. I can't really weigh in too heavily just yet because, like I said, I don't know. Without any further ado, let's just hop in. Let's just hop in and do the damn thing.
We've run the data through all
You can
possibilities.
tell I've been doing this for
It's
8 years.
time for a death battle through time.
Oh, are we gonna use Xenoverse Trunks? Probably. Probably, huh?
Stop! You're under arrest for unsanctioned time travel.
Seriously? This is what I do!
Is that what Silver sounds like? That's not a bad Trunks voice, though. I always prefer these, like, 16-bit looking ones. It's unfortunate because, like, outside of, like, telekinesis, I don't have a whole lot of context as for what Silver can do. The only game that I played that he's in is Sonic 06.
You see? It's
Sure.
no use!
Rip off.
It's no use. Well, Trunks has Super Saiyan 2 as well, and Super Saiyan Rage. So I think he can equalize things here. The poor Moon is always getting...
Crap baskets.
The Moon's always going through something in Sonic, isn't it?
Come on, give me a good pull. Good enough.
Forgive me if I speak out of turn. What the fuck? Since when? I've watched a lot. I don't even know where to start with what I just saw. Is that a thing that happens in Xenoverse slash Super Dragon Ball Heroes? Where you just buy a pack of Yu-Gi-Oh cards and summon friends? I thought this was going to be a one-on-one. I just like, what's happening? I guess they just died. I don't know. I don't know what's happening, actually. Yeah, Trunks' sword is usually getting sunned for some reason or another. Did he just go Super Saiyan? I knew it. I knew it. I knew we were doing the Dragon Ball Heroes, Dragon Ball Xenoverse timeline. And I've said this before. I have said this before, specifically when it comes to anime characters. I hate how often Death Battle goes outside of the canon to do shit like this. I don't even. It's not even something that it's like, oh, it's just so hype, like you gotta show it, like Super Saiyan 4 Gogeta or something like that. I don't know anybody that gives a single solitary fuck about Trunks becoming a Super Saiyan God in Super Dragon Ball Heroes. I remember it trended on Twitter for like 24 minutes, something like 6 years ago. And since then, I don't think I've ever heard anybody talk about it. Because I also don't know how he went Super Saiyan God. I don't know if he did the ritual, but I feel like without access, I don't know. Whatever. I guess nothing matters. Like now we're at a point where is that the Keyblade? We're at a point now where I don't know what the fuck is going on. All of my Dragon Ball knowledge is being rendered useless right now. Would it have been so hard to just take Trunks from Dragon Ball Super? That is a pretty good Trunks voice, though, I'm not gonna lie. Like, I can tell it's not Eric Vale, but he sounds good. What the hell is that? Yeah. Like, like I said at the top that I figured that Silver would win. I just thought that, like, I'd be able to understand what was happening in the battle by the time that it did. One thing I have noticed is whenever they go outside of canon to, like, supplementary material or extraordinarily out of context feats or forms or techniques or weapons, they only give it to the character when they're going to lose anyway. Like, they'll do Superman versus Goku, and they'll talk about how in Super Dragon Ball Heroes, Goku did this crazy thing when he was fighting Hearts or whatever the hell the character's name is. But it doesn't matter because it does, like, you can give Goku whatever feats you want. There's random feats from any given month that you can give to Superman that just put him way above anyway. So you can say that every single thing that Goku has ever done in animated form, from the movies to Super Dragon Ball Heroes to whatever, you roll it all into one version of Goku, and he still can't touch Superman. So, like, that's the approach that they take. They'll give Trunks everything that he's ever had in, like, any version of the character. Why didn't he do a spear? But whatever. But it's like it doesn't matter because Silver's gonna win anyway. And I guess they do that to, like, shield themselves from comments about, like, well, why didn't the character do this that we saw them do one time in an episode of a show that's not canon? And it's like, well, they did. It just didn't matter.
Oh, come on! Trunks is way past cooler than furry Kyle Reese.
It is hard to imagine Trunks losing to anyone. However, Silver ironically had just about everything he needed to put the Half Saiyan 6 feet under.
I'll take your word for that.
Travel wasn't much of a factor.
Let's see. Stronger and faster than base Silver. Key sword. I did ask if it was the Keyblade. Counters time manipulation. I don't know what that is. More variety in arsenal and summons. I just don't know why that's relevant. Stronger and faster in super form. Can redirect most key attacks. Can disable Trunks' technology. Superior control over battlefield. I just feel like Trunks. You're not gonna tell me that Super Silver is stronger than Super Saiyan 2, Rage, or God Trunks. If you want to say it's stronger than Super Saiyan 1 Trunks, sure. But we're unless this is like, because, like, I know that, like, Archie Comics Sonic is, like, one of the most busted characters in fiction. Unless Silver scales to that in some sort of way, I find it extraordinarily hard to believe that Trunks, who, like, in his base form, as he appears in Dragon Ball Super, is easily a universe buster. That's fair to say, right? Um, I just don't see how Silver could possibly be that far out of reach, because Super Saiyan makes him 50 times stronger. Super Saiyan 2 makes him twice as strong as Super Saiyan 1. Super Saiyan Rage has an undefined multiplier, and then I would assume that Super Saiyan God makes him even stronger than that. So we're talking about somebody who can get potentially thousands of times stronger than the amount of energy output that it takes to destroy an entire universe. Because remember, Kid Buu was a threat to the universe. This is Kid Buu, the weakest Buu. I don't care what anyone out there says. Kid Buu is the weakest. How on earth could he possibly be stronger after losing everything and everybody he had absorbed? That doesn't make any sense. That would be like saying that first form Cell is stronger than super perfect Cell just because he was stated to be the most dangerous. Most dangerous and strongest are not the same. Kid Buu was the most dangerous because he did not think. His instinct was purely to destroy. Anyway, if Kid Buu was a universe threat uh, at the end of the Buu saga, and it's fair to assume that after becoming a Super Saiyan 2 and training with the Kais and everything and defeating Buu, or rather defeating like Dabura and Babidi, that Trunks is probably around as strong as Kid Buu by the time that we see him in Dragon Ball Super. Is that fair to say? I hope so. I just don't. You'd. And I know that this is what happens when you skip over all the lore, but I don't want these reaction videos to be like 50 minutes long. Because I was about to say, you'd have to show me a ridiculous feat to say that Silver is anywhere near that strong. Maybe they did show it somewhere in here. But I just,
Since they
I,
were both
I, I
pretty well
really just don't buy
matched,
it.
Either way, Silver's psychokinesis could disrupt tech like the hero switch and the time travel armband, leaving Trunks without his
I don't know what those are.
primary method of hopping through time.
I don't give a shit about Super Dragon Ball Heroes and Dragon Ball Xenoverse. I don't care.
Even in his super form, it's questionable whether or not Super Silver had the physical ability to match Super Saiyan Trunks. In short, it's practically impossible to lock down exact numbers and limits for their power levels.
So Trunks could have probably taken a win if he found an opening, but Silver's psychic powers have worked around similar disadvantages before. Interjack was way stronger than him, could match the power of Super Sun.
While in base form, Silver Psychokinesis briefly restrained Super Scourge, a dark version of Super Sonic, despite the large power gap. Okay, well,
Conquered all of
that's fine.
Mobius, but Silver could consistently Uno reverse card his attacks back at him, and he wasn't even super at that time.
Trunks was obviously much faster than Goku's trip to hell. He could easily be sextillions or septillions of times faster than light, maybe even more. However, by the very nature of Dragon Ball powers, his speed must have a limit, even if it is impossible to know an exact number given what we've seen.
But Archie's super forms have consistently shown incalculable speeds. Sure, Goku broke through Hit's time skip, but that actually has nothing to do with speed.
As explained by Whis.
Did you hear what he just said? Because of the nature of how powers work in Dragon Ball, Trunks must have a limit to his speed, even if it's impossible to figure out the exact number. Does that not mean incalculable? To say that the Sonic characters have incalculable speed and that Dragon Ball characters surely have a limit, we just have no way of figuring out what that number is. That's the same thing. It's the same thing. That means that their speed is relative to each other, doesn't it? Doesn't it mean that they pretty much have the same speed? Whatever.
The effectiveness of time manipulation in the world of Dragon Ball depends on the difference in power level between the caster and their target. Such as when Kranoa attempted a time stop on Mira and failed, due to Mira's energy being stronger. Xenoverse's Goku has also mentioned how increasing his energy affects space and time around him.
In any other matchup, this would be totally buck wild itself. But no, Archie super forms just have to break time itself.
It's also difficult to put an exact number on Trunks' maximum level of power. The strongest beings in his continuity can affect his entire multiverse.
While the number of recorded timelines in Dragon Ball is finite based on the Scrolls of Eternity, the Xenoverse has infinite peripheral timelines such as parallel quests and the Infinite History DLC of Xenoverse 2. I don't know what that means.
Has infinite timelines plus the crack of time outside. In contrast,
I'm not gonna play these games. Ever.
Like Supersonic can rewrite the infinite timelines in Archie Sonic's multiverse, plus the extra-dimensional realms outside, like the Chaos Force, Pocket Zones, Mega Man's own infinite universe, and yes, possibly even a multiverse with Spawn.
That's Spawn.
The scope of Dragon Ball's cosmic scale simply does not compare.
Plus, unlike Sonic, Silver spent many years being trained how to use chaos magic by the guy who invented it. Hell, if Mega Man could rewrite reality just minutes after learning he could even use the Chaos Emeralds at all, Imagine what craziness Silver could pull off!
Trunks' best chance was the Key Sword's ability
guess.
to nullify powers, like it did to Mechikabura. However, the Super Genesis Wave explicitly could not rewrite the presence of Supersonic or Super Mega Man, despite being able to rewrite even the extra-dimensional Chaos Force from whence it came. It's likely Silver's super form could resist the Key Sword, at least for a time. Ultimately, while there are many versions of this battle where Trunks can win, Silver's superior abilities close out a victory more often than not.
To make things brief, Silver was just hugging.
I'm not gonna. I hate these puns. Whatever. I mean, I guess I'm. To me, it just sounds like they really wanted Trunks to lose, and so it just came. It comes down to like, oh yeah, fucking like whatever. In my personal opinion, that's one of the sorriest explanations for the outcome of a death battle that I've ever heard, and I've watched maybe 100 of these over the years. Um, that's quite terrible. But that's been Trunks versus Silver. Thanks for watching. Comment below what you thought of the battle and who should have won, and possibly suggest another death battle or something else for me to react to next time. And I'll see you next time. Stay safe.